Welcome back, and of course, right about now, we will be getting into this conversation that I have been waiting for quite some time. I am really curious to see how it goes about, and I'm really curious to hear what they have to say about the topic, which is conservation efforts. How exactly has Kenya performed? So we have a very able team of, people who are passionate about the environment, of people who are really doing their level best to ensure that we are preserving Mother Nature and just championing for Mother Earth. So with me, I'm going to start off with Alvin Ochieng Omondi, who is the founding director, LEWMO, that's LUMO. You can just wave. That's him, that's Alvin Ochieng. We have William Dihanda, Africa resident, the Bucket Ministry. Where is William? That's him. We have Peter Olo Okoth, Manager Environment, Health and Safety, Konza Technopolis Development Authority. There he is, that's Peter. We have Arnold Oricho, Wildlife Scientist, African Conservation Center. We have John Henry Otieno Ogonda, Lecturer, Wildlife and Environment Club Africa, Nazarene University. We also have Engineer Joseph Guthiru, Climate Tech Engineer. We have Anne. You can just walk in, it's okay. It's okay, let her make her fashionable entry. we barely have women here, so it's fine. We have to give importance to the women here. We have Anne Namaimba, Conservation Ecologist, Mpala Research Center. We also have Dorothy Aseo, who is the Executive Director, Greenbelt Movement. We have Sami M. Kenzeku, founder, Greener Cities. Oh, that's Sami. Fun fact, we've actually interviewed Sami before for his great work, phenomenal work you're doing. So congratulations on doing a good job, and thank you for coming. We also have Collins Onyango, CEO, ETCO Empower the Community. That's him. We have Joseph Ilhachi Makoka, Greenpeace Africa volunteer. Wow, we have someone from Greenpeace as well. So yes, it's lovely to have all of you here, and I'm looking for a very interactive conversation on this particular topic. We are going to be just discussing in depth how Kenya has performed in its efforts in conservation. So the question today we'll start off with is, how would you rate Kenya's overall progress in conservation in the past, let's say, 10 years? So if you were to rate it, do you think we're on track? Do you think that, there are some efforts, we are really just doing our level best? Or do you think there's a long way to go before we are able to finally do something good for the country in terms of conservation, in terms of sustainability? We can start off with you.
Thank you very much for having us here today. Okay, thank you very much for having us here today again. We are convening here just to talk about conservation issues and efforts which we as a nation we are doing. And I can confirm that we as a nation, we are in the right track as far as the conservation issues are concerned. And so much is going on in both terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems. And these are some of the things spanning also legal aspects which makes Kenya to be in a strategic positioning as we also try to curb or to tackle some of the emerging challenges in the conservation space. Yeah.
Okay. What about you? Do you agree with what he has to say? Are we on the right track, really?
Thank you very much. I will say that Kenya is at crossroads with conservation efforts because there are very clear headways that we've made, but also there are many clawbacks that are there when it comes to conservation efforts in this country. And therefore, it calls upon all the parties that are involved in conservation matters to be able to really rethink and re-engineer around how we are uptaking our conservation efforts. Therefore, it's a critical moment for this country when it comes to conservation matters.
Okay. Good. What about you?
I think we are somewhere.
Okay.
Where I come from, the organization I'm working with, we are into water conservation. And let me just say that we are, the government is trying, but we are still not yet there.
Okay.
Considering some of the places where we are working at, in the informal settlement, you realize we still have a lot that needs to be done. Yeah.
Okay. What about you?
For me, I would say we are in the right trajectory, especially in the research section. We as a country are receiving so many researchers coming in, and so much is going on. For conservation to happen, we need researchers, because you cannot conserve what you do not know. So much is going on, from the rocks, water, mammals, every taxa. We are doing we are doing so much in research, and so by research I mean we do data collection, we analyze the data, and then we write the outputs in terms of publications. And so through these publications, we are able to inform our conservation policies, and for the conservation policies now form the national action recovery plans of several species. And right now, Kenya is on the right track, because for example, we have for the black rhinos, for the past years they were at 300, but right now we are at 1,000. And so that means the efforts are bearing fruits.
Okay,
yeah.
Lovely. And I'm going to move to the next row. You can tell me what your thoughts are on this. Do you think we're on the right track when it comes to conservation?
Yeah, thank you very much.
I think you can stand up, because it'll be easier to see you, because you're at the back. So you can just, yes, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. And as far as restoration programs are concerned, I would want to confirm that Kenya is really moving at a good pace.
Okay.
And the fact that I'm coming from downstream Madari River, where Nairobi and Madari River converges, and just 50 meters ahead we have these big waterfalls that has been accumulating waste for a long period of time. And seeing the transformation, I would say by 2030, as far as environmental goal is for Kenya is concerned, we are really moving at a good pace.
Okay.
Thank you for having me again. I think the country is heading in the right direction as far as I'm concerned with what I'm doing, which is mostly tree growing. As I've observed constitutionally, the country is supposed to have like 10% forest cover, but currently we are at 12.3%, which I think it's a right direction. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm not sure whether to play the devil's advocate.
You can do just that, because over here we're here to have a very balanced conversation. We'd like to hear both sides, so please feel free.
Sure. So I think we can pat ourselves on the back. We've done a couple of good steps. But also we're not on the right track, because we're missing out on a couple of key issues that we should have been in on right now.
Yeah.
Some of the forested areas, we've seen them being grabbed. That is a minus on the conservation system, where we should be already having some good land issues that we can solve some of those problems. We are missing out on the rate at which we are doing our solar energy installations, not going at par with our population and everything else. So I think also on that point, we need to pull up our socks. We've seen a couple of these issues coming up with conservancies and communities, especially in we've seen some of these scandals with carbon credits and so on. So I think we are kind of getting on the right track. Yes, we're planting trees and all that. That's really fancy. But also we can do better.
Okay. Okay. We love the honesty.
Thank you so much. I strongly believe that as a country we are headed to the right direction. In terms of institutional and legal frameworks, we are somewhere. I think what we should now be focusing on is the integration of IKS, that is Indigenous Knowledge System, research and technology. As Konza Technopolis Development Authority, I think that's the line that we have picked. That's engaging technology, embracing it with the research and the community, that is IKS.
Okay, we'd like to move on to you. Maybe you could stand so that we can see you clearly, because you're right at the back.
All right.
And yes, you can tell us more.
Yeah, I would want to agree with him. I think in Kenya we are much more good at policy and institutional framework thing. We've done that one. I would rate it at around say 60%,
okay.
60 to 70%. We need more of environmental outcomes. As most of my colleagues here have spoken, they say, at least we are doing something. So the tree planting is happening, a bit of waste management is happening, river regeneration works is happening, affordable housing is happening. So there is a lot more that has been done. I would say that's around 50% if I gauge general, but there is need to do more on the outcome now.
Okay.
We have done a lot more of policy work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. Thank you.
Greetings. I'll grade Kenya 40%.
Okay.
There's chance, there's space for improvement. And my only concern actually is with the generation. I also concur with there's a gap between the indigenous knowledge and the current scientific methods.
Yes.
There's a lot of information in the villages that we can use for conservation purposes. And I'll also go with my friend here that we have some shortcomings, especially when it comes to implementation. And this may be designed by design or may not be by design. In that you find our governments, either local or central government, allocate less resources for environmental projects. Go and look at the Ministry of Environment and Ministry of maybe Defense.
Yes.
We need security when it comes to environmental matters. So, and also the other concern is there's less mentorship when it comes to environmental matters. You cannot separate the environment and agriculture. You cannot separate the environment and wildlife management. You cannot separate waste management with other, okay? So we are in an ecosystem that depends on one another. But who mentors these young ones to go and do courses related to environment?
Okay.
So you find that we may have to import researchers to do things that our own can do. Yet we have that opportunity. I know CBC or CBE is there, and they're trying to do something, but still we can do more when it comes to mentoring these young ones and educating ourselves more about the environment. Thank you.
Lastly?
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. In relations to Kenya conservation progress, I'll say it's commendable, and even though it has faced its fair share of challenges, critical challenges, we are on the right trajectory. We have witnessed it since the banning of the national banning of plastics in 2017, and introduction of community forest associations and increased engagements in the community level. We are sure that we are headed in the right direction in as much as conservation is concerned. Thank you.
Brilliant. So now I'm just going to ask a question, and if you have any input, you can just raise your hand. So I think that's better, and if you don't, then that's fine. So the question is, you know, you are all in the conservation field, right? You're all from working on ground, you know, you've interacted with people, you have seen accomplishments, you have seen milestones in the areas that you work. So what are some of Kenya's most notable achievements in conservation? If you were to highlight some success stories, including your own, maybe you can tell us a few good things before we move on to the challenges. We'd like to look at the positives and just see how far we've come, and then now we move on to the negatives. So yes, if there's anything you'd like to say, please do raise your hand. You raise your hand first?
Yeah. Should I still stand up? Or?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I think one of the most notable right now, having, being working much more in the river regeneration field, I see a lot more of river regeneration work being done. And there is more of groundwork activities happening, especially from the Nairobi rivers.
Okay.
And you can see there is a lot more of the work itself, implementation part of it. We were talking of getting these jobs implemented. So we have seen the Nairobi rivers from downside, from the downstream being worked on, and it's going all the way, the 27 point something kilometer stretch. It's going to be worked on. So that's a positive side.
Yeah.
They're also planning to do the Madare and Ngong River. And you see, if all these are happening at once, the only thing is that if they don't happen once, then it becomes more of a bit more of a problem. It's like giving, wanting to give someone a cloth, but waiting for them to stay naked first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more of an implementation. We are saying you have to ensure that all these people have, they're done at once.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much for that question. I think as far as Kenya as a country is concerned, we have some milestones which we can celebrate as at now. I'll be focusing on the rangelands and maybe forested areas.
Okay.
Where basically we have the convention for the CBD.
Yeah.
And also these reportings are things we use to measure how success a nation is doing. And as in rangelands, or even the strategic plan, the wildlife strategy plan 2030, and I know even other strategy plans, we have one increased awareness as one of the goals. And one thing we must embrace as a nation is now the increased awareness, because we have very good legal frameworks. Yeah. But people must be aware of the things they should be doing in specific areas. This is for maybe waste, how people should be managing their waste even at the homestead levels. And I think we as a nation, we can confirm that incorporating these goals into the strategic plans, we are going to have a very big milestone. Secondly, in terms of even species recovery, as a nation, I think everybody here is aware of how we are rewilding, or we are bringing back the mountain bongo in Mount Kenya Conservancy. We are bringing, and I can assure you that the rhinos and even elephants, their populations have increased.
Yes.
During the Anthropocene era, that means the era which we had a lot of human encroachment into habitats, wildlife spaces. Yeah. And when we had a lot of human, affecting or adversely affecting the environment, we have seen that we have increasing species population, including elephants in Kenya. They are increased. And just to mention, in Africa, 30% of the wildlife is found in Kenya. Yeah. And out of the 30%, 80% of Kenyan terrestrial land is rangeland. Okay. So, and in these rangelands, we have communities living in these rangelands. So we can assure you that if population of these species have increased, then the communities living in these rangelands on these spaces, they have seen the significance of protecting the wildlife. So we can confirm that more awareness is being created, community engagements are there, and even species recovery is a milestone we can actually celebrate as a nation.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah, thank you very much once again. I think from my perspective point of view, as far as grassroots initiatives are concerned, I would want to say that Kenya is really making a big step in terms of river restoration, because I've been in this field for the past 7 years, and this is the first government that I'm seeing really taking things into act. Like, for instance, creating that buffer zone along the riparian, which was something that was very difficult to do, but now it's something that is visible, and now even the community, they are owning the process, because most of them have been adopted to the program, and also some of the grassroots-led initiatives. Like, I've been working towards coming with a waste-to-business model. And now we've been incorporated, and Nairobi Rivers Commission have like 4 projects that are being owned by community-led initiatives, which this is one of the things that has really been lacking, like promoting the already ongoing locally led solutions. So I believe when there is that ownership, then there is a promising when it comes to sustainability in the future. So in terms of milestones, I would say in river restoration, the government is really doing a lot. And where I come from, as I said earlier, we have these big waterfalls, which is a hidden gem that we were planning to have a green tourist destination. But for now, it hasn't yet like fully being done, but already you can be able to see people coming around to see and admiring the beautiful serenity around along the river. So it's something that is really inspiring, and really sure if they keep on the trend, then by 2030 we will be swimming, as the president was saying earlier. Because I've been embarking that journey, and it was really difficult to do it because being there at the downstream and all the solid waste accumulating. But now, for sure, you can you can visit downstream and you'll find the river is flowing, and also it has been widened, and where the deep end was needed, it has been done. So there is promising that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. As I had earlier said, that as a country, we have done very much well in terms of policies. Let me give an example. Is the recently passed act, the Sustainable Solid Waste Management Act 2022. The policies are there. The question is, what are we doing as individuals, as NGOs, as parastatals? What initiative are we putting forward to ensure that the policies are implemented? Taking an example, like I'd said, Konza Technopolis Development Authority. That is the only authority in Africa that has come up with an automatic solid waste collection system where you will never see solid waste on the surface of the earth.
Wow.
It is waste being transported, sorted, transported underground, and managed without any effect on the environment. As individual, as an NGO, as a CBO, what are you taking? What step have you taken? So in terms of technology, how are you embracing that?
Yeah.
So on conservation, all comes back to us as individual. What steps have we made?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so for me, I would say the achievements that we have made as a country is embracing technology, especially in this century. So with in the research section, we are using much technology to monitor the animals, such as camera traps, and some are AI generated where they can sense any movement especially in the rhino sanctuaries. We use the camera and the normal camera traps also, and then we use drones to to count the populations in the ecosystem.
Wow.
We also use the digital conservation tools such as the Earth Ranger and Smart tool that is used to collect data, real-time data in the wild. These are mostly used by rangers, and they help so much so that for example, if there is a case of human-wildlife conflict, then it's dealt with timely. And then for another example is in terms of bird conservation, we have embraced the use of citizen science data tools that like using of BirdLaser and Kenya Bird Map. These are mapping tools where that can be used by anyone, any citizen. So you key in the data and then you submit, and this data can be used by the scientists to put meaningful outputs out here.
Brilliant. Yes.
Thank you. I'm a happy guy because of the presidential tree planting initiative, the 15 billion tree planting initiative.
That was my next question, to ask if it's something that is over ambitious or it's something that we can achieve. So maybe you can give us your thoughts and then we can talk about that later.
Yes. He's been very intentional since the day he was elected. That speech at Kasarani, we had him saying about climate change and focusing on tree planting. With the 15 billion, so far we have almost done 1 billion, which is below par, considering that the target is 10 years. But what's unique with that is every state department, every industry, every individuals, the community are all involved in tree planting. And now with the inclusion of the climate works through employing the youth, they're still continuing to grow now the trees, not planting.
Yes.
Now they're planting and nurturing. And because of that, I'm sure the country is going, if not to achieve the 15 billion, I'm sure we are going to do almost 10 billion.
Okay.
Yeah, if we continue with the trend.
Okay, right. Wow, we have 4 more hands. Okay, fine. Maybe now we can just speed up a little bit because I feel like we need to move on to the next question due to interest of time. So we'll start off with you.
I'll commend what the government is doing.
Yes.
But I also feel that there's an opportunity for us to improve. It's useless to educate you about something and you don't tell someone what you've learned. Mm-hmm. Education is not education unless you apply it. Okay? Right. So we need to be practical in what we are doing. Let's show practical examples. And also, for example, if you talk about wetlands, mm-hmm. if I ask you what's a wetland, mm-hmm. not many people know. Mm-hmm. Okay? The only day you talk about wetlands is maybe the International Day. Mm-hmm. Yet you have swamps at home, which are wetlands. And these are the richest in terms of biodiversity. Yeah. Okay? And indigenous knowledge could actually tell you that. Okay? So if we can utilize this local knowledge that we have education at our tips. But now, how are we utilizing that? Look at the hills when you are growing up, maybe 20, 40 years ago. You could find that hills were forested. Yeah. What is happening today? Most of the hills actually were left so that the animals could exist in. These are where birds could be staying and helping in pollination. Okay? And now we are struggling because of food insecurity, yet we have brought down the trees that were, yes. And also, I'll acknowledge what the government is doing when it comes to green energy, use of green motorbikes, use of things that used to have the carbon produced into the environment that was in higher output. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that is something that I'll acknowledge that the government is really doing something. Okay. But we can do more when it comes also to waste. Okay. Waste is just a resource that is misplaced. Let's be innovative. Let's teach our children how we can convert the waste to a resource.
Speaking of that, we actually have Ngudiro here, Engineer Ngudiro, and we featured him a while back. He's doing something, I'm not sure if many of you know, but he is transforming water hyacinth in Lake Naivasha to eco-friendly material. So maybe you can tell us more about that.
Thank you so much. Actually, that's a nice segue because I wanted to get into that. Yeah, so on the private sector, I think a lot is being done on conservation and environmental awareness. And I actually applaud it because we are having a lot of steps being done by both startups and also like big corporates. So what we do at Higher Park is we convert water hyacinth, as you mentioned, into biodegradable packaging material to replace the banned plastic bags. Yes. And so we work with the fishermen in Lake Naivasha, creating employment for them, and also we have a whole team of engineers who do the whole conversion. And that also applauds to how private citizens have also taken up getting away from the regular plastic bags that we banned as a country, and then we all agreed to get into alternatives, which I also think is a really good thing. Also, we've seen a lot of the private sector getting into electric mobility, which is right now a thing in Nairobi. Mm-hmm. You're seeing electric buses, e-bikes, and also all that. So I think as much as the government is doing well, also the private sector is also doing well.
Okay, brilliant.
I would love to highlight the commendable job that the organizations have been doing, especially Greenpeace and the Green Belt movement. They have been able to train, fund, and support local communities so as to be sustainable in a way that it supports the climate, and it also supports their economic stability. And the other bit is youth engagement has increased in the space, and we have seen an increasing number of youth being interested to venture into this space of conservation. And this has really bring the aspect that the future is really promising, and we are headed in the right trajectory, seeing that the youths are quite interested to take part in conservation.
Okay. I would just get comments from them too. And you've already spoken, so...
I just wanted to add a bit
sure.
on that.
Very quickly.
Yeah, sure. I think also the government is supporting a lot more of partnerships. It actually allows the local community to to do some local partnerships,
yes,
so that they can have community-generated solutions.
Okay.
For example, EDCO does a partnership with Pine Tot, Ecologists Without Border, and Power Engineers to do tree planting around Nairobi Dam and handle waste that comes from the upstreams of Kibera to the dam. So we are trying to stop the waste from getting into the dam.
Brilliant. Yes.
Yeah, I'll also want to comment around the green spaces, especially in urban areas.
Yeah.
And this is a very critical ecosystem that we've been really pushing to continue having green spaces and having the green components within our urban dwellings. And this is one of the things that Green Belt movement has been working very closely and pushing on governance matters for green spaces in this country. You've seen our work around maintaining Karura Forest, working on Gong Forest, the Uhuru Park and Central Park, and this is actually for the well-being of all the dwellers that are in the cities. And we want to commend also the county governments, because devolution allowed actually decentralization of conservation efforts. And we are now seeing uptake of the county government, especially in their FLOREPs, that is the Forest and Landscape Management Restoration Plans. And we've seen a lot of governments, county governments, uptaking and operationalizing their FLOREPs. And this is where the engagement actually is now trickled to the real constituents that are benefiting and also supporting the conservation efforts. So we want to applaud counties like Nakuru, counties like Makueni, who have really been able to embrace their FLOREPs and bringing on board many actors like Green Belt Movement, Greenpeace, and any other players that we've worked together to ensure we have more green spaces and again be able to work on our restoration efforts and land ecosystem conservation support.
No, great work there, of course, because it's commendable to know that young people actually have green spaces to go in and just enjoy, some fresh air, because back in the day, these weren't possible. And now we have more and more, so good work there. Yes, lastly.
Yeah, I love the positivity, but also for the purposes of improvement.
Yes.
This can be from the government, the policy implementers, from us who are in the NGOs world. And my main focus is still on water conservation, because when we are talking about water conservation, we are talking about getting clean, safe water to our households. Not long ago, I opened my tap, and the water that was coming out wasn't clean. You walk around in informal settlement, you'll see pipes leaking. You see a lot of pollution happening. And we are seeing a lot of pollution happening even in our water sources.
Yeah.
So this is an area, yes, as an organization, we are coming in to fill the gap. As the bucket ministry, we are offering the bucket filters to households. But how about areas where we can't reach? How about people who are not privileged to be close to organizations? So these are areas which still calls for a lot of improvement, ensuring the water sources are well protected, ensuring that we have clean water running on our taps, ensuring that families can access to water. And even when we're talking about water conservation, we're also talking about harvesting water for future use. God has blessed us as a nation. We have rains, but what are we doing with the water that is coming?
Yeah.
So there should be some mechanism in which we are able to harvest this water there should be some sensitization happening to ensure that water is properly used and managed. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much for the insight. Now I'd like to move on to my next question, which basically is about urban development, right? And how exactly do stakeholders and people like yourself who are in organizations, you're working towards bettering the environment and a greener Kenya, but what exactly do you think and what are your views on infrastructure development and the fact that conservation is also at play? So where is the balance? Where do you fall and how do you enable people to release the tension that's coming between conservation and, of course, on the flip side, we are seeing urban development, we are seeing roads expanding to the point where trees are being cut down, forests are being cut down, land is being taken away from forests to be able to expand highways, for instance. We're also seeing trains, for instance, go through the national park. So what exactly is your say on this particular matter and where do you think the balance should strike? You're always the first.
In fact, I love to go fast because when I might dilute the question.
Yeah.
I hear some. So normally I love responding when the question is still fresh in my mind.
First come, first served.
Thank you. So I think the issue of development, infrastructural development, and even the issue of protection of these conserving of the protected areas is a very key issue to us as conservationists, because talking about even the issue of within Nairobi and the neighboring counties, we had proposed in 2021, President William Ruto proposed the Gongri route, 12.5 kilometer railway, commuter railway, passing through very key ecosystems.
Yes.
And what we are saying that we can strike a balance between development and conservation. And I can confirm that even we have so many challenges affecting not only wildlife, but even the forested regions. One is now the issue of even electricity.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we do plant trees along roads, but when we don't have long-term planning, we end up losing these trees after very few years. Even 3 years, the power source the trees are down through power source because they are affecting the development of this nation. I think we have to strike a balance.
Yeah.
And integrating things like PES. PES is the Payment for Ecosystem Services, is very key also to engage the communities, because communities, we have to unpack some things to communities so that they can protect them.
Yeah.
We have communities who have been conserving green spaces for ages, and they have been conserving them sustainably, including forest, Ngong forest. We have communities in Mau forest. We have communities living inside these inside these ecosystems. And when we talk about the issue of even water, Mau having a source of so many rivers, being source of so many rivers, we have to understand that we must integrate the payment for ecosystem services, because Mau forest is not only, it regulates, it provides, and cultural, we have so many benefits ecosystem services, ecosystem provides to human well-being. So we must understand how development can strike a balance.
Okay.
And because of the legal framework we also have, Section 69 of the Constitution, the Wetland Act, Wildlife Conservation and Management, IMCA is there. So we need to also incorporate and consolidate all these acts to speak for us, not just to be there and be piled somewhere. So we can strike a balance between development and conservation, but we need engagement and we need informed decision.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I want to talk on the point of view of practical or practicability of whatever we are, development versus conservation.
Yes.
Let's take an example in Konza Technopolis. All infrastructure being developed must be green certified.
Okay.
Taking an example of Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. It is certified through GSeed, that is Green Standard for energy and environment. We have we are hosting the National Data Center, which has a LEED certification. That means we look at energy consumption. Is it clean energy? Water resource utilization. We look at how environmentally friendly are the infrastructure. In Konza, we don't do roads. We do streetscape. That means 70% of our streetscape have 70% are canopy, that is green canopy, the trees. We calculate both the softscape and the hardscape at a ratio of 70:30. That's where we are headed right now. And again, all the investors who invest in Konza, 10% of your parcels must be greened through shrubs and tree growing. That is a policy that we implement. So development and conservation can be done and is practically being done in Konza Technopolis. How do you utilize solar energy? All the houses, we have a furnished apartment, we have the Konza complex, solar consumption. Konza has already allocated 43 acres for solar farm and has engaged an investor. In terms of energy, in terms of resources, how do we sustainably utilize them? So it is possible and it is doable, and we are doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
At times, environmentalists and or environmental organization, when you hear NEMA is coming to your organization, you just know that there's something. Something has to be, there's something that they've suspected. And at times we are called anti-developers. But what is development? It's just improvement of what was there at the start. Then can we do sustainable development?
Okay.
As we develop because we want to improve how we meet our needs. But can we do it sustainably? In that, as we meet your needs today, you don't compromise the capability of tomorrow's generation meeting their needs. Okay? And I'm glad Kenya is doing something. We are not talking about the wind farms in Northeastern. We are not talking about the solar farms in Northeastern. Okay? We are not talking about the embracement of technology when it comes to food production. For example, yes, we are doing for what the president is doing with the housing project. But on top of that building, can we do a farm, a hydroponics farm, in that you don't need soil to produce food? Okay? Can we do green transport? For example, how many vehicles ply between Nairobi and Western Kenya? Is the train really working? Okay? Can that population using the diesel engines be taken and we use green source of energy to propel a green transport means? For example, we improve the train capability there. Then we also have green funding. When someone approaches you with a proposal that they want to do a project, check whether they're compromising. Is it in the wildlife corridor? Okay? So with that, we'll be able to tame how our development is going to be. Then, who is government? It is me and you. Okay? Who chooses the government? It's you and me. So when you ask me, how is the government doing? First of all, in your own home, how are you doing when it comes to environmental sustainability? Then with that, by default, we will change the whole thing the way it works. But I'll request that we also avoid of promising and also, should I call it cartelism? There's a lot of cartels. Money is released for funding of this project, but they don't get to the grassroots. We don't feel it. Only I'm not saying that boardroom meetings are good. Planning is good, but most of the resources need to get to the real act down there. Let's not only implement 20% of the funds, and yet 80 have been into conferences and meetings. Let's stop talking. Let's do the do.
I think stakeholders are working to, actually they've allowed more of conservation and development to work together rather than opposing. They're seeing it something that can be integrated, more of an integrated planning, where we have green infrastructure and development. Like a typical example is the one that we are having currently, the Nairobi River, the Nairobi Rivers Commission is working a lot more on sewage and sanitation. So the community are allowing, like say in the perfect example of Nairobi River, they are allowing for redevelopment kind of the sewer system. It's going to be more of about 5 meters high or something, and opposed to what is currently there to accommodate the overgrowing population of Nairobi. And this one is integrated with the affordable housing and the housing developments that are happening in, again, Nairobi. And this one, again, you realize that there is something that comes with it, or to do with the green parks. So they are also creating or constructing some green parks along the rivers, which means they're integrating green spaces, they're integrating water and sanitation, and also still doing urban houses. So it's more of a stakeholder thing. They're agreeing, they're actually bringing the community to discuss on how best they would want their environment to look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I've just been informed by my director we have just 15 minutes, so I'd request all of you to kindly keep your answers short so that we can move on to the next question and everyone gets an equal chance to speak. Yes, Sami.
Thank you. I have a feeling that urban and infrastructure development is impacting conservation negatively. I'll give an example with Nairobi City. You find when, for example, when there is a construction of roads, they don't consider trees or prioritize how they can grow trees after any project, any road construction project. I've never seen like a contractor has constructed a road and planted a tree.
It's a great point there, actually, because I know in some countries there is some sort of rule in place that if you cut down 50 trees, for instance, you have to make sure that you plant those 50 trees. So, yeah, great point there.
Yeah, look at Kenya Power, what it does. It is very easy for them to cut down a tree.
Yeah.
And I can't remember when I saw Kenya Power planting a tree. So we need to find a balance. Whenever we are developing our cities, we find a way how we can, because basically conservation is about managing these natural resources for future generations. We find a way. We compromise ourselves when we are doing these constructions, this infrastructure development. We consider greening our cities.
Okay, brilliant. Yes.
Yeah, I would like to draw your attention towards what we call the financial models or instruments that are being used to power conservation vis-a-vis development. And I think those are more or less skewed towards development projects that only look at that are not really cognizant of the integration that is required. So we find maybe a project that is being approved and we find the funding is just looking at putting up a road despite the other integrated maybe infrastructure facilities or even conservation support that they were meant to really be included in that particular project. So this is what we are really trying to relook into and calling upon investors and even government and any other actors that once we are negotiating for these particular projects, especially looking at development and conservation, can we look at models or financial instruments that are versatile and inclusive to really bring on board projects that will be able to be cognizant of both conservation and even infrastructure development aspects of it. And this is whereby we are calling upon partners and even people who actually have been able to see best practices happening and are able to utilize. And I'm glad that one of the organizations that is working on cities and supporting like governments to negotiate through such, the World Resource Institute, they're coming up with projects of helping governments to negotiate through infrastructure development that is cognizant of how they are bringing in resources to power such projects and being able to also look at other processes that are meant to be integrated within those projects. So financial instruments that have to be actually versatile and dynamic to incorporate both the infrastructure development component and other integrated aspects of that, including conservation.
Yeah, now, of course, we know that Greenpeace as well as Greenbelt Movement, you had a case in court, and this was regarding the 51.64 acres of Karura forest that might be hived off to expand Kiambu Road while in Ngong Forest. And of course, trees have already been cut, and the plan to have Ngong Railway has started. So, you know, this is something that I think aligns with what you're saying, because there is this constant battle that, you know, conservationists and environmentalists are currently going through, where it's like, yes, urban development must happen, but what do you do to counter that, the negative effects of urban development? So moving forward, you know, is there something that Greenbelt as well as Greenpeace would do so that you're able to keep fighting for the fact that green spaces need to be preserved?
Absolutely, because currently we are actually in court.
Yes.
And we're just waiting for determination. Actually, it's coming on the 19th of August.
Okay.
And we are going to really have both the Kenya Forest Service and, of course, the county government of Nairobi, plus the other players that are enjoined in that matter, to be able to give a more, what we say, determination that is able to incorporate that infrastructure development. Okay. And proposals have been given. I think we've had actually technocrats look at that infrastructure development and provided proposals of what can be done to, of course, expand Kiambu Road, devoid of damaging Karura Forest. And this is something that is feasible, but it will need more investment, which we are calling upon the investors, that if at all this infrastructure development has to come, it should not actually compromise already the fragile ecosystem that we have in the green spaces in the city. So we are waiting for the court determination. That is a matter I won't develop further because it's in court. Of course. But of course, it is in the positive and favorable direction, whereby we will have at least a compromised infrastructure development process of that dual expansion of the road.
Great, thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to add before I move on to the next question?
Actually, I feel there are some people in authority who are being compromised.
Yeah.
And you look at development is good, but why should we encroach? Why should we want to kill our wildlife? Right now you walk, going to Ngong Forest, you see a lot of estates coming up at the forest. Why should the railway line pass through wildlife while the initial idea was to upgrade what we are having there?
That actually is going to be my next question, because I was just going to ask, how exactly do you deal as environmentalists and conservationists, how exactly do you deal with corruption or political interference with major environmental programs? So, you know, you have mentioned that there is, you know, some interferences from political parties or people who are in power. So how exactly do you deal with that?
A colleague has just mentioned they are in court.
Yes.
But on the ground, one of the things that we do is we are raising alarm.
Okay.
We are sensitizing community and letting them know what is happening. And some of us are picking it up and they're saying this cannot happen. Yes, so I feel from our end, sometimes we are limited. Sometimes we feel like we can't do much, but the little we are doing by raising alarm, by taking some of these matters, issues to court, we are seeing at the end of it, we are seeing some results coming forth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. You had raised your hand?
Yeah, so for me, I would say we need to give informed decisions, especially to the politicians especially I would say in the places like northern Kenya, which we have so much resources like the solar energy. But we are having right now, there are many, some of the projects that are erecting electrical poles to the communities in the conservancies, but these communities cannot even afford paying for the electricity daily. And so we can use sustainable means like just buying them solar panels, and then which is very reusable and safe to the environment.
Okay, thank you. Lastly?
Yeah, I was actually to add on what William was saying. I think there is a lot more need to have community engagement to avoid conflict. There is a lot more that's needed to ensure that these project affected persons have the right information, or rather are properly engaged to generate some local solutions.
Yeah.
Because I believe these people, having been in such, or rather living in that kind of setup, the problem is directly linked to them, and they most probably have ways in which they can properly solve that problem. So it's important to have this community almost 100% involved.
Okay, we have to wrap up in the next 5 minutes, so I'm going to move on to my last question, and very quickly you can give me your thoughts on that. But again, I mentioned, I'm going to repeat it and keep reminding you very quickly because we just have 5 minutes. But what really should be Kenya's top 3 priorities in our fight towards conservation and sustainability? And you know, we are doing a good job so far. We've established there is some great efforts from different parties, from individuals, the government as well. But really, what should be Kenya's top 3 priorities moving forward to ensure that we have a green and clean Kenya in the next few years? So everyone can just give me their 3 top priorities very quickly. So I'll start off with you, as we always do.
I'm always number one. Anyway, thank you. I was to tackle that question, but I think time is a constraint. But you know, let me just mention, we have to do environmental and social impact assessment.
Okay.
And we have to look at the feasible, possible ways when we may be doing infrastructural development. Maybe we can consider an underpass or an overpass. And that's why we were submerging to the idea that development and conservation, they can still work together.
Yes.
So coming to this, the last question, I think we have pressing issues in the field of conservation and environment. And maybe some of the key issues are, one is climate change.
Yeah.
And this has led to natural degeneration of even vegetation in their previous existing places. Yeah. Like in rangelands, we are losing vegetation. Not that somebody is cutting them, not that an elephant is uprooting them, but because of natural degeneration. So we also have the issue of waste and pollution.
Okay.
Waste and pollution is a pressing issue more so in urban setup. And we have to look at how we can segregate the waste and how possible there's some of the possible ways we can, at the point of collection, how can we separate the waste, the solid from the biodegradable waste, and the biodegradable and the non-biodegradable waste, so that even at the point of disposal, we have a clear pathway. People working in the field of recycling, even the organic waste, they can use it for manure and other purposes, and even BSF, all those are nature-based solutions, just to keep our environment clean. My last point is the issue of, in the rangelands, we have a pressing issue of land subdivision.
Yes.
And just to commend our president for trying to reconnect Nairobi National Park with other ecosystem, the way we are trying to connect the Kitengela. We have a suggestion of removing the EPZ, which was constructed in that corridor, wildlife corridor. But we need to be very conscious about environmental issues, because if we don't act swiftly, we won't cope up with these issues.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Again, keep your answers very short, because then not everyone will get a chance to speak.
My 3 priorities will be, 1, continued investments in environmental conservation and especially renewable energy. The second priority will be around our good governance. Let's not actually forget that good governance is a very important precursor towards outcomes, better outcomes for our environmental conservation. And the third priority is around community engagement, continued community engagement, so that we can know exactly are we bringing resources to the people who really are either supporting the work that we're doing conservation or being affected by the impacts of climate change.
Thank you very much. Please be like her. Next.
Fresh water is becoming limited.
Yes.
It's becoming expensive for a common mwananchi to afford. So I feel we still need to do a lot in water conservation. I will say we also need to do a lot in waste management. And yeah, finally just creating awareness on environmental issues. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me it will be, we should be self-aware as individuals, because conservation begins with you as an individual.
Very true.
Especially littering. How do you dispose your used water bottle and the wrappings from the candies?
I still see it. You know, when you go to events, when you go to concerts, for instance, you still see so much littering. And sometimes I wonder, we're in 2025. Yeah. Why are people still so backwards? Like, it makes no sense to me. So again, it comes from individual efforts.
Yes. And then another one is, I would say, we should empower more young women and ladies into conservation.
Yeah.
Because as you know, when we empower one woman, we have empowered the whole community. And then also, my last one will be community engagement, as she has said.
Yeah.
Because these are the people who live with the animals day to day. So we need to hear what they have to say about the animals, and then we tell them what we know, and then we come to a consensus.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
I would support enhancement of green funding. That is very key. Then research, embracing technology, then finally community engagement.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll tackle the question by providing solutions that I think we are failing at, that are good stuff we can do.
Yes.
One is energy. By God's grace, we have like a 98% electric grid that is renewable. So AI requires a lot of, these data centers that have AI require a lot of energy, power consumption, and so on, which we have resources. We can actually create solutions for the world. So energy, one. Two, being the blue economy.
Yes.
We've done so much with the mangroves, but I think we can do so much more with our blue economy. And three is green jobs and incentives. And that's the way that we can have people buying into conservation and ecological stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. One, financial gap. It is non-government organizations that are supporting most of conservation activities. So these are called for the government to add more resources. Two, community involvement. For example, when you are growing trees, we don't just plant. You plant and let the community own the projects. And maybe to answer a question you had asked before about how ambitious the 15 billion trees is. Yes. Simple mathematics. We are 50 million. Everyone should plant 30 trees every day times 10 years. That is 15 billion.
Whoa. 30 trees every day?
No, every year.
Every year? Oh, that's achievable. That is achievable. Okay.
And lastly,
mathematics.
And lastly, enforcement. We have the laws, but we are not enforcing them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, my three top priorities. One of them will be promoting locally led youth initiatives for longevity and sustainability. And the second point will be to strengthen collaboration and partnership, just to stop, to strengthen collaboration and partnership, to stop duplication of projects, at least to strengthen the already existing project. And lastly will be to, let's keep on creating awareness until we meet the objective that we are after. Thank you.
Okay, brilliant.
We have more policies than we need as a country. The only thing that we need is strong and better enforcement.
Okay.
Number two, the conservation sector has been underfunded, as we have just seen in the previous budget and all other previous budgets. So we need to increase the budget in our conservation sector. And number three, the major stakeholders need to support the youth and the community in local climate action so that it might be sustainable and achievable. Thank you.
We struggle every day having the youth in the street saying that we are jobless. Can we have green collar jobs?
Yes.
Can we be innovative with the knowledge you have from primary or whichever level, indigenous knowledge. Can we make our problem be our solution? Okay, can we create business out of all this confusion? So number one, green collar jobs. Why are our young people scared of doing courses that are related to conservation?
Yeah.
Okay, can we be innovative enough and be those who can encourage the young ones to do environmental related, Why are we scared of being dirty, yet we want to eat every day? Number two, ownership. You can't protect what you don't feel belongs to you. How can we change the attitude of our own people? Okay. How can we change the attitude of our own politicians? Okay, so attitude is very key. And how will we do this? Education. Number three, which is the last one, strategic plans. Many organizations, including your own family, you have a strategic plan. Can you include the green component within your strategic plan? Okay, here at K24, within your objectives within the next 5 years, can you put green approaches within your activities? For example, in my institution at African Nazarene University, we are trying to transit from the normal power to have the electricity by the security electricity lights run by solar.
Yeah.
Okay. Having green spaces within your work environment. Okay. Having sponsorship when you are approached by another company or youth group that they want sponsorship. Can you try to streamline that to support green-related activities? Be the change you admire, because no one else will come to your village to save it.
All right. Before we end, this is TV47, home of untold stories.
Sorry.
Just a point of information, yes.
Right. So I think for me, there are the three major things that we should focus on. First is to restore and protect the water ecosystem, because you can see there have been a lot of degradation, both from the sewer, waste that comes from the upstream or wherever, and encroachment. So there is need to protect and restore the water ecosystem.
Okay.
There is also need to secure the forest and land, where a lot of tree planting needs to happen. That would need both government and other stakeholders. Like, for example, as I mentioned before, at Nairobi Dam, we planted over 450 trees.
Yeah.
These trees needs to be watered and taken care of. So you realize that other organizations like, say, Pintot and Power Engineers and Ecologists Without Border are coming in to support these local solutions that we are coming up with. So there is need to for the government to support with that, and also there is need to protect the wildlife conservation.
Yes.
There is need to have wildlife conservation, where we know that Kenya is blessed with a lot of important animals or species.
Yes.
So there is need to have that, because they promote all the biodiversity.
Okay, thank you very much, and that brings us to the end of this discussion. Appreciate your time, and of course, quite an eye-opening experience this has been, I'm guessing, for all of you, because the depth of knowledge that you all have when it comes to conservation, it's phenomenal. So keep doing the great work that you're doing. We need more people like yourselves to continue championing for a greener Kenya. So yes, once again, asante sana, and let's continue planting trees. As we said, 15 trees a year. 30 trees a year? Yeah. Mathematics is not my stronghold. But yes, 30 trees a year, promise. I will make sure I make that happen. And you watching at home, also make sure that you take it up on yourself to plant 30 trees a year, because nothing is impossible. It starts with you and I. So once again, asante sana for watching at home. We appreciate your time. And yes, we'll keep continuing to have such conversations, because it starts with us. And these conversations is what will enable us to have that shift in mindset, to be able to care for the environment and for Mother Earth. That's it from us right here on Green Fix. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. I am Shiksha Arora, and this is TV47. Take care, good night, and have yourselves a green night.